Okay, this conversation is about processing the pandemic and more specifically about fear. And fear comes in many forms. Fear of illness and death, like the first thing that may come to your mind, because this is a virus and it could kill you, or maybe if not you, somebody you know or somebody you love. And if it doesn't kill you, it may cause you to suffer terribly, because as you know, many people who get it have a terrible time getting rid of it. Yeah, a lot of people don't even know they have it, but maybe you're afraid that you're one of those people, and as you walk around, you're passing it around to other people, and you feel afraid that you may cause someone else's suffering, or worse, someone else's death. Then there's the fear of uncertainty. Nothing is the way it used to be. All of a sudden, the world came to a screeching halt, and nothing looks or works the same way anymore. It's hard to plan. It's hard to organize yourself when you don't know what tomorrow brings. Well, technically, you never know what tomorrow brings, but predictability was kind of a feature that we were used to from before, and now it's all gone. The fear of financial ruin, very real for a lot of small business owners, and also, people who lost their jobs, they may never regain them, because a lot of people who worked for the small businesses that are about to close, already closed down, may never be able to find another job. We don't know how this giant unemployment is going to resolve itself, if it will, and how long it will take. So if you're feeding a family and paying a mortgage, financial fears keep you up at night. Then there is the fear of losing freedom itself. So you see the freedom rally people out there, and those that are worried that there will be a martial law and the government is trying to subjugate you, and for whatever reason. So they're worried that their rights are being taken away and all that. So they fear the loss of their freedom. There was a song. Freedom is just another word for having nothing to lose. But okay, let's go back to fear. So whether it's health related, financially related, or just the fear of uncertainty, there is also the fear of isolation. A lot of elderly individuals who are in the vulnerable category will have to stay home a little longer and protect themselves. Well, that means they're by themselves often. They can't go out and socialize as much. Maybe they're not so comfortable with technology, so Zooming with their friends may not be an option. And it's scary, it's taxing to look into the week, the month, and just see yourself there by yourself. The loneliness, the isolation is very difficult for a lot of people to live through, right? So there's the fear of more of that coming our way. And after 2.5 months of it, it already feels like it's way too long for a lot of people. So fear shows up in the world most frequently as anger. So if you're watching the news lately and you're going, what the hell's going on? America's falling apart. There are all these riots and protests for everything, right? And you look at the treatment of black people and the recent stories with the murder of George Floyd, and you're looking at freedom rallies. People are angry that their rights are being trampled on. You look at politicians that are stoking the anger, pinning people against each other, making enemies out of everyone that doesn't think like them, to right up to the head of state, our Twitter-in-chief, who is fighting with Twitter on Twitter because he's angry that Twitter is fact-checking his tweets, and now he wants to take revenge. So here we are in an angry world. and most people are pulling their hair off, wondering what happened and where is this going. Well, under this anger is the fear of loss, the fear of uncertainty, the fear of financial ruin, the fear of isolation. So why do we fear? A Zen master will tell you, because you care. Underneath anger is fear, and underneath fear is care. You care about what you have, who you are. You care about your life. You care about your loved ones. You care about your security. You care about your safety. You care about your goals and your dreams. You care about a lot of things. So here we are in a society where everybody's fighting with everybody because they're angry, when in reality, deep down inside, we all care about the same things. We all want to stay alive. We all want to prosper. We all want love and connection. We all want security and safety. All our needs are the same. We may have different vehicles for acquiring and satisfying these needs, but at the end of the day, we're more alike than we are different. For as long as we stay on that level of fear and anger, we cannot make a difference. And if we're waiting around for politicians and somebody else to put the world together right again, so we can go about our business, living the life we used to have, it's not going to happen, because clearly there are competing interests out there that are not necessarily in your best interest. But if we connect down with what we care about, maybe we can at least have a conversation. So people are not walking around like grenades that are just about ready to explode. And on a short fuse, no one makes good decisions. And when no one makes good decisions, only bad outcomes are coming. So it almost feels like there are very few rational people that are sitting their butts down and going, wait a second, what are we doing and where are we going and what's reasonable and what's not reasonable and what's stupid. Now, in this kind of a crisis situation, there are always people who will take advantage of the situation. So whether they will cause, they'll go looting stores, or they will go loot the small business government help fund, like the big corporations who are taking small business loans even though they didn't pay taxes last year. There are going to be entities that will take advantage of a crisis for a personal benefit. And yes, that is appalling. But at the end of the day, there's 330 million people that live in this country, and most of them are good people who are freaking out. And you are one of them, perhaps. And you don't know what to do with yourself. So maybe what you do is you just get more wine online and drink extra so you don't have to think about it. Or maybe you watch Netflix because it gives you a 2-hour or 4-hour or 8-hour a day where you don't have to think about it. Or maybe you're the other person who can't take your eyes off of the TV screen, looking at the news all day long and raging about it, not realizing that you're just looking at the same 2-3 topics that revolve around the same 2-3 issues. You're not getting any new information. You're just putting new fuel in your fire, driving yourself crazy. So this fear manifesting as anger, instead of pull back, sit down, think rationally, connect with what you actually need and see what happens. This fear acting as anger is turning everything upside down and making it worse. So, how do we deal with it? On a very personal level, living in fear is exhausting. You can't sleep. you pace around, you do stupid things, you adopt unproductive behaviors, and you ruin your relationships with people who are actually in your corner and think positively of you and want to help you out. So, how do you deal with it? On a personal level, you have to make choices. Number one choice: what are you going to expose yourself to today? Are you going to, again, stare at the TV, watching the news or Netflix, or are you going to go out and spend some time in nature? Better yet, go out, help another human being. We all know from research that when you live for others, when you help others, you feel better. And you feel better because you're part of something bigger, because you are useful. Humans like to be useful. And you have control over this action. You choose what to do, you go ahead and you do it, and it helps somebody else. So here you are, you're in control, you're useful, you're purposeful. All that makes you feel better, which is why people need responsibilities, and which is why a lot of people find work to be a compelling purpose for a living. You know, they're engrossed in their work, especially when they're doing meaningful things. So being useful, being needed, it will elevate you. So when you are elevated, and so you're out of that fear zone and stress zone and numbing yourself zone, you are more likely to make better decisions for yourself, for others, and to be more rational. So when you see things, you don't just react. You can consider what you should do or not do, if you should participate or not participate. People who are in crisis are vulnerable, and others will take advantage of them. How do we know that? Right now, there are so many conspiracy theories circulating around social media that are triggering emotional issues around the fears we have. Whether it's losing your freedom, whether it's losing your life or your savings or your house. There's so many conspiracy theories of what this virus is or isn't, what is real, what is not real, what the government really wants you to do. And they're all designed to connect to your fear and exploit your energy so that you can get up and do something, whatever they want you to do. And you know, I've been following some of the information out there, and it turns out more than half of registered users on Twitter are actually not real people. They're bots and trolls who are put in place to specifically spread out misinformation that's disguised as something useful, that's talking to people's insecurities and fears, and is able to get eyeballs. And then getting eyeballs means getting reactions, and getting reactions means getting people pinned against each other. So I don't know how you feel about being manipulated by a bot, but I would feel pretty stupid, honestly. I'd be like, okay, enough of that. I'm just gonna go do something else today. I'm just gonna go hiking, I'm gonna play with my dog, and I'm gonna like try to get a different perspective on what I think I know. So you're vulnerable when you're in crisis. So you got to pull yourself out of crisis mode. And to do that, you need to take care of yourself. And to do that, you need to refocus your attention. You need to refocus your attention on what matters. We already talked about helping others. We already talked about going outside, getting some vitamin D, getting some good exercise and nature therapy, right? Fresh air, nature therapy. And another thing that will lift you out of your fear mode is getting some semblance of control in your life. The nature of the situation is that it makes everyone feel out of control. We're told what to do or what not to do, and We're uncertain about the future, so it feels like there's just no way. If you get some semblance of control into your life, you're going to feel better about yourself. And again, lift yourself out of this fear mode and anger mode that comes with the fear mode, right? So how do you get semblance of control? Well, clean your house, fix your fence, teach your kids something, sit down, try to learn a language, try to organize your finances so you always know exactly what's coming and what's going. And in that vein, educate yourself about financial help out there from the government. If you're a small business, there are things that are available to you on a local level, on a national level. How much of that do you know? Today, I spoke with a person, a small business owner, that asked me about my PPP loans and unemployment and all kinds of other things. And I was looking at him like, 2.5 months into this and you still don't know what's up? California unemployment was available on April 28th, a month ago, right? The PPP loans are on the second round already of government funding. There's so many options. This person had no idea. How can you not have an idea if you're a small business owner and you're worried about your finances and you feel insecure? What were you doing for the last month, right? So being proactive for your well-being, whether it's health well-being or financial well-being, being proactive, educating yourself, learning about resources, and deploying your strategies. Like, make a strategy. If this happens, this is what I'm going to do. If this happens, that's what I'm going to do. You make plan A, B, C, or D. That gives you a feeling of control. So in an uncertain situation, having a plan gives you a peace of mind. You are not just a leaf blowing in the wind, whichever way. So same applies for relationships in your life. This has been difficult on relationships. If you're living alone, probably less so. And if you like living alone, I should say, that's me, I like living alone. But if you're living with people, like maybe roommates, maybe your significant other and your kids, it adds stress. These people that you normally don't see for 8 hours or 10 hours a day because you're working, now you got to spend 24/7 with, and it's not a vacation, and you have to worry about finances. Okay, it brings out the worst of everybody. So like, what can you do about it? By tending to your relationship, by having discussions with your partner, you can get a feeling of control. Like, you can make a difference in your own life. You can make a difference in the life of those around you. Having that feeling of control will alleviate your fear. As your fear is lifted, your anger is dropping. As your anger is dropping, you can be a rational actor. So that's the general message that I want you to get. Fear begets anger. Anger begets distraction. If you are uncertain, if you are unstable, your fear grows. Your anger grows. If you tend to yourself and you shift your focus to what matters, and you get some kind of a feeling of control because you're proactive, you're educating yourself, you are learning about available resources, you are tending to things that need tending, the things that matter most, and you are offering yourself of service to others, all that alleviates the fear. As the fear is lifted, the anger is lifted. As the anger is lifted, the distraction is not so bad. You can manage. So I hope this was helpful. I cannot get more specific because this is a video for everybody who will watch it, and everyone has specific circumstances. But I bet you anything, your circumstances are somewhat what I described. And so you can apply this way of thinking to your situation. And one last side note, but very important, in terms of self-care. So we are bombarded with a lot of information for what not to do, right? Regarding this coronavirus. Don't go out there, stay 6 feet apart, wear a mask, limit your activities. So all this kind of restricting information is plentifully available and it's out there. But what's being discussed less is the easy ways you can keep yourself healthy and your immune system healthy, so that even if you are to contract the virus, it won't destroy you, right? So keeping yourself healthy and keeping your families healthy. We don't hear enough about that. We hear about possible prophylactic solutions to mitigate the health crisis. We talk about vaccines, but hardly anybody's talking about what you can do for yourself to stay healthy. And some of the available solutions are really not expensive and easily achievable by everyone. If you're not familiar with Rhonda Patrick, she's a researcher. She's got her own YouTube channel. Probably the easiest way to get to her is to, or familiarize yourself with her, because she can be very heady when she does her podcasts and YouTube talk shows. It gets science to an MTth degree. It's geeky. But one way to hear her about her discoveries is a recent show when she was the guest speaker on the Joe Rogan show. So that's like literally like in the last 10 days. I don't know when you're gonna watch this video, but now it's like the end of May. So I'm going to put a link down there to that particular episode of the Joe Rogan show, and I will let them tell you instead of me telling you, because I am not the health expert and I'm not the PhD and I'm not the mega researcher. I'm doing my own research to the best of my ability, but having a team do the research with you, it helps a lot. So she's a health proponent and science-based, not just like some feel-good, unsubstantiated baloney. On the Joe Rogan show, they talk about the things you can do for yourself. It's a 3-hour show, but the first 20 to 30 minutes are probably the most important part. So look at the link below and check out their conversation, because it will be very helpful how you can take care of your own health. And listening to them, I feel pretty good because I've been doing all the things they've been saying, except I don't have a sauna because I didn't put one in my house. I should have. Anyways, so hopefully this was helpful to you guys. Comment below, share this content, and please subscribe to my channel and spread the information. If you find it useful to people that can use it, share it on your social media. I really appreciate it. And have a healthy day. Take care of yourself. Be good humans. And don't do anything that you cannot take back. Think about not just your own convenience and your own moment here, but think about your community, your neighborhoods, and how your actions impact others. You live in a world of many. You're not a world by yourself. All right, well, hopefully this was enjoyable. Subscribe and take care. Bye.